Hi everybody, TheSuffolkRam from Rant Nerds. So I want to do a rant on that I've basically going to start getting back into Warhammer. If you know what Warhammer is, it's a tabletop battle game. You buy these models, and with the models you basically build an army, and you have themed armies of like they're lots of different races like Space Marines, Orcs, Tyranids, and these armies you then battle with each other by rolling dice and so forth, and you basically emerge victorious or suffer a bit of defeat, one or the other. In my case, usually the latter. And so I've decided to go back into it. It's been a few years. So I wanted to do a video about how I got through to the series, how I got into it, and saw the ups and downs of the series that's gone on, the new rule book, and what I'm looking forward to. So got back into Warhammer 40. Actually, I should just say I'm talking about Warhammer 40k here. I did say Warhammer, but force a habit, I just referred to it as Warhammer rather. I should say Warhammer 40k, and my hair's gone mad. I've just noticed. I'm not sure why it's done that, but hey, we'll live with it. I got back into it with the third edition of the game. I met a friend at a drama club, and he was into Warhammer, and we got chatting. And he told me about it. It sounded really cool, and he was talking about fantasy battles, so I decided to go buy some. So I was planning this. Oh yeah, we've seen a Toy Master in my local town. Went upstairs, looked at them, and looked at the fantasy stuff, and then immediately looked at the 40k stuff, and got took in by this Space Marine Tactical Squad. And I was only about 12, probably about 12, 13 at the time. So I picked up this Tactical Squad and bought that. I also bought the Codex, which is a book which basically every army has a book called Codex that details all its rules and all the points in it for the models and so forth. I picked that up, didn't have the rule book, so I had no idea what any of it meant, but picked it up and I was hooked. I looked at all the models, I thought it looked really spectacular. I just literally saw, I want that model, I want that model, I want that model, I want that model, I want to build my army up. So I saved pocket money up. Oh, the chap was very happy that I bought War 40k because he was into normal Warhammer and he thought he was having another player of normal Warhammer. And he was trying to push me into a certain army. I think because he wanted another opponent of something they didn't already have. But I went straight for K. I went straight and bought 40k. So money, I think it was about 50 quid back then. And I bought 3rd edition. This is the rule book that came with 3rd edition. And it's just beautiful. It has there's so much. It's full of, it's partly rules, but also a lot of lore in there, or fluff if you want to use the term. I mean, there's all this stuff at the back. In this one it's all mainly at the back, like the world of Warhammer and all this sort of stuff written in sort of context of the game and so forth. And it's a really interesting, it was interesting reading. It was like this whole world had opened up for me of this game, this place, and I was fascinated reading about the stories. What was cool about this one is that, because they changed a lot from the 2nd edition, they gave you all the armies, had their own little mini army book in the back. That's the Eldar, that's the Eldar's army book there. I'm not about showing the points values because it's about 10 years old, no, 20 years old. Crap, it's 20 years old, I suddenly realised I had this book about 20 years. A bit old. And it came with a box set. And in the box set, you got 2 armies. You had a Space Marine army, which was good because that's what I was already collecting anyway, and it had a Dark Eldar army. So I had a bigger force, and basically it was enough to get you started. It came with dice, templates, which are used for resolving attacks, rulers, and everything you need to basically, you could start playing straight away out of the box, which was great. And the only else I had no one to play with, so I ended up into press game. Usually my father got press gained into actually playing the game with me, having a fight with me, and so we played it. So I was into Warhammer, I was mainly the collect side, and the lot of armies that I never really got into, I sort of liked them but sort of like went off them. So I had Space Marines at first, I sort of collected a Space Marine Dark Eldar army, I was probably about 2,000 points. I then got some Dark Eldar, I then got some normal Eldar as well, because I thought they looked quite swish. I thought they sounded cool as well, because these grav tanks and so forth. I also got some, what else did I get? I think I got some Guard or Orcs. Or Nid. I got a bit of everything, a bit of Nids, a bit of Orcs, a bit of Guard. I think I got pretty much a bit of everything. Except things like Chaos stuff. But a few years in, I used to subscribe to the White Dwarf magazine. This White Dwarf had a a picture of this brass plaque in it. As a bit of mystery, and it had all this alien writing, which no one's seen before, and just said, and it had all saying, "Oh, we found this. We don't know what it means. And so keen to code it." Well, I thought I'd give it a go. My grandfather's also been to puzzle at this point as well, so me and him sat down and we literally decoded this, and it's all about this race called the Tau, and talked about them and their background and so forth. And literally a month later, this got released. And I took one look at the models and I was like, that's my army. I loved it. The whole aesthetic of them, the whole way they're set up, everything about them just looked cool to me. I like the sleek designs, I like the sort of like really sort of neat way they did it. They just looked really nice and neat and brilliant. And so I started collecting. Now, I wasn't a great painter. In fact, I've actually got one here. This is one of my Terminator rings. So I bought this not long after I started playing Warhammer Terminator Squad because they look cool. And that's basically my painting ability at the time. I mean, I'm not much better now, to be honest, but I was never going to be a Golden Demon winner. I've literally got 3 colours. We've got blue, and it wasn't even Games Workshop blue, so I was using Humble paints. Silver and green. That's what the colours are. Those are the Humble paints, so who knows what they were. That's what I purchased. So I got to Tau, bought a few models, didn't really play anything with them. Because to be honest, at this point I was actually getting out. I was more into the sort of reading about them, feeling they look cool, reading the battle reports, but not actually doing much with it. I played a few games with some other friends. My sort of cousin played for a little while, and I played against him, me, Space Marine Team Elder, and took against Force, and that was quite nice. I sort of actually wanted to play and compete against. That was quite fun. And we did that a little bit. But gradually, of course, time I gradually slipped out. 4th edition got released a few years after 3rd edition. Obviously, it would be released after 3rd edition. And got that one. I bought the new rule book. And again, it wasn't a great deal of major changes, but loads more. It was a lot more in depth, a lot more beautiful drawings and so forth, a lot more modern. So the quality of the paintings in it was absolutely fantastic. Picked this up. And actually, a few years after this, literally a few months after this got released, Codex Tau Empire, the new Tau Empire. Now, so Tau got renamed to Tau Empire. That's because they had these auxiliaries in them called Creep, and they also had these new ones called Vespids. And this was like the new book that they had to work. Had this, read it, gone through them, picked a few more models up, didn't really paint, didn't really do anything with them. Just had them. It was about this time that I basically soon stopped playing Warhammer. Like I said, I was reading it all, but I couldn't justify spending the money on buying the actual goods. I was working part-time at the time, and it's an expensive hobby, Warhammer, and I couldn't really justify it, so I didn't really have anyone to play with, so I sort of drifted out. Fast forward a few years, I'm in work. I've just recently been promoted, and I've been thinking about, well, I've got a bit of money now, I might get back into Warhammer. I used to quite enjoy that, but I thought, wow, I've got no one to play with. I happened to be walking into canteen one day, and I saw this guy sat there who I know, and we chatted and so forth, but I wouldn't say he knew in depth, just a colleague at work. And he was reading the Imperial Guard Codex. And this is literally about a week after I thought to myself, I really fancy getting into Warhammer again. So I just walked up to him and said, "You a Warhammer player?" And he goes, "Yeah, I used to be, but I've sort of got out and want to get back into it again." I was like, "Me too." And that was it. We then sat down. We spent nearly every break and tea break and lunch break we had, because we weren't partners, we were always organised to be together, so we could sit down and just chat Warhammer. So we pretty quickly, literally I think that sort of evening, I went out and I ordered the new rule book. This is 5th edition, so this is the one that has probably the most memories for me, because this is the one I've played the most. And it was nice getting back into it. It hadn't changed that much, it's a little bit more in depth, it's a little bit definitely a lot better written. And yeah, really got into it. The only downside of 5th was they never ever released a new Codex of Tau. So I was working on this old stuff, so all these new people getting the new codexes out, they're getting them, and they had all some new stuff, and I was still working on really old stuff that I didn't have any sort of chance to play with, sort of fight with. And I said I wasn't a great player, just too much with them. I mean, I obviously got better painting. I mean, I'm better painting now. I'm still no golden demon. This is what my current painting skill level is like. That's about my limit, really. To be realistic, I'm not going to get much better than that. I've tried. I just haven't got the steady enough hand to paint details that fine. I just simply can't do it. So that's a minute. But you know what? That's good enough for Battlefield and sort of places where I play. That's good enough. And so that was it. Me and him played quite a few games. He used to play Guard, I used to play Tau. He'd come down to mine, I'd go over to his. We managed to get some other people involved. One picked up Space Marines, which we mocked and mercenary for. Because Space Marines have a reputation of being an easy army. They're a good beginner's army. If someone wants to begin Warhammer, then army I tend to say, you should probably pick these guys up. You don't need many models to make a force up, so they're quite good. Budget-wise, they're quite good to get started with. They're pretty hardy, so they're quite good at surviving. They're forgiving for tactics-wise. They're quite forgiving, so you don't when you learn the rules, you've got a chance at playing them. You've got a good chance of at least getting a draw quite early on, even if you don't know the rules. So great beginners armies. That's what I tend to recommend it for people. So pick them up and what have you. So someone else picked up Tyranids, and we had a few games together, had a great laugh. We'd have big battle days, they all come down and we play each other all day long, and yeah, it was great fun. But like I say, I worked through all codex. 6th edition King came out, and I thought I'm never going to get a new codex. But not long after, this arrived. Tower Empire, 6th edition codex. Absolutely brilliant. Bought with it our new toy, which was this. This is the Riptide. Oh, your boy. Yeah. Brought him in. And for once, they worked a lot better. They literally redesigned it for a bit more balanced. When I was fighting my friends, I actually felt like I had more. Whereas before in the old tower, I was feeling I was just constantly on the back foot, because they'd all had codex creep, and I was like on the back foot whole time, and it was impossible to win games. It was bloody tough. Make one mistake or have one bad round of shooting, you really much had it. This changed it. It made it a lot more balanced. They're a lot better, and they were great again. I loved, and got back into Tower real time, and I gradually ended up collecting quite a few numbers of Tower in the end. But then I sort of left working that end of the country, and I moved for a lot more local, which meant sort of gradually over time drifted away and sort of got out of it. Then I happened to meet someone at work a few days ago, just a customer, a few months ago, sorry, and he mentioned that he was getting a big board cut up and so forth, and we're talking about sealing it and painting it and all sorts. I asked what he wanted it for. Oh, I'm making a battle board. Okay, what's that for? Oh, for Warhammer. I was like, Warhammer player. So we got chatting a bit. I said, oh yeah, I used to be a Tower player and so forth. Oh, well, if this is a new edition, 8th, and they've re-changed it. Okay, so didn't think much of it. Just had a chat with him. Then a little while later, I went to one of my old colleagues who used to play Warhammer with, and just talking to them, and he said to me, I just mentioned we used to play Warhammer, and he said, we all still do. All the people I used to play with all still play Warhammer, which is awesome. They still do it. So I was like, I'll need to sort of get back up to speed and I'll get into it. So went out and ordered myself 8th edition that week, and I went and ordered 8th edition Warhammer. This is the newest rule book. I have to say, the rule book, it's got so much fluff in them. It's page after page after page of background details. Downside of it is for some reason they put the rule book right at the back. I mean, the basic rules are only about 6-7 pages long, cover pretty much everything. A lot of the additional rules are actually split up into layer parts of the book. So the rule book, the way the rules are set out, to my mind, is a bit of a mess. They are really laid out absolutely ridiculously. It's not a well laid out book, if I'm honest. The box set's quite nice, so I could have bought the rule book by itself. I ended up buying the box set. You get a force of Space Marines, a force of Chaos Space Marines. Roughly calculated, they're roughly about 900 points, roughly each. I think there's slightly more Chaos Space Marines from memory. I think they're about 950. So it's a good basically starting place for your army. You can easily just add a few units to that, and you've got 1500, 2000 point army, not a lot of extra work. which is cool. It's quite good. So I've been playing a few games now. I have noticed the Chaos Army they give you, I think, is a bit rubbish. They just don't seem to be able to compete with the Space Marine army. Space Marine just seem to always dominate them. So I don't think much of the Chaos Army they've given you. It feels a little bit too easy a fight against them. I think some of them set the Space Marines will win. The units, Chaos on paper look they've got quite a good few things, but they just struggle so much. Even if you get in close combat, they're just not really that great at fighting off. So I think that balance is not great. They completely redefined how Warhammer works. Vehicles now are treated basically like another crux. They've all the armor values that we used to have are gone. Vehicles are treated just as a more powerful unit. Basically, they have all the same stats all the units have, although they do tend to lose ability as it goes down, which is quite nice, quite interesting. But they have wounds, characteristics, and lose wounds. So there's no more or very little chance of you shooting a tank. So I mean, Great Britain Towers, you could pretty much, if you're lucky, just take a tank out in one hit. I remember playing against my friend, and he had an Earthshaker cannon. And was it an Earthshaker? I think that's Imperial Guard. The one of the massive like pieces of the Imperial Guard have. And literally on the first turn, rolled the dice, boom, gone. Literally, the very first, after doing a movement, the first thing I shot was those broadsides, and they immediately took out the Earthshaker cannon. So yeah, that didn't last long. It didn't even make it. Literally made it. It was on the battlefield less than 10 minutes. Poor thing. I felt so sorry for when I did that, but it was so funny at the same time as well, watching that just pop in the long distance. Obviously, because of this, what they've had to do is, because also none of the codexes would work, so they've released what they call these indexes, and this is the one for Tau. Now, I've issued the Tau for this. Very similar to how the old work. They've done a few things that have made them like, oh cool, so a lot of things that were upgrades in the old book are now just default. They've decreased the pointers on a few things, however, a lot of things they have increased the points. Now, points how you balance it. If you're not sure what's going on, points how you balance your arm as a way of balancing your armies. You say we'll have a 2,000 point game, and then you base all your models in your army have to equal 2,000 points. There are a few other restrictions in there as well, but that's just the gist of it. Tau have had a massive points increase, ridiculous points. I went through one of my old army lists, which I took to a 1,500 point game. That same army list was the new Tau book, is now worth 1,900 points. Nearly a third more expensive points wise. And yes, there have been some changes which make them look bad on paper, and perhaps they are bad, but it just feels like a massive points increase. And the general feedback from our players is that they're now so expensive to field that's really awkward playing games. And you literally most people just end up spamming certain units because it's just easier. Which it's not for me. I don't like it. I like to have an army that feels like an actual force. I don't. This part I've now always started to get feeding armies. I used to pick armies because they were. I didn't want to be these ultra competitive, tournament killing armies. I wanted to put an army that was just fun to play. So I like to have a mixture of units. I like to make it feel like matching the fluff. So I like to have gun lines and firewalls. Even if they aren't that great, I like to have them because that's how they should be. That's how they're meant to be. How the fluff should be played. That's what I like. But when I have an army which is like composed nothing of commanders and loads of drones, it's just like, yeah, it may be competitive and yeah, it may work really well, but that's just not the same. So I'm a bit disappointed, but I'm hoping we'll get a Tau Codex next year. I'm going to sort of take my Tau against the Space Marines in the book. I've basically put together 900 points of Tau. I'm going to throw them against the Space Marines that come in the box and just see how they get on. See how they compete and whether they can whoop them or whether they can be just whooped themselves. So I do think that's going. Now I've decided I could go on collecting Tau. I probably will get some more Tau models, but I have got near enough as an estimate. I did a quick sort of back from what I knew I had, back of paper calculation. I've estimated I've got approximately down towards 6,000 points of Tau. So I've got a fair side. I've got pretty much one of every unit they have available. There's a few which I haven't got, but nearly every unit they've got available, I've got a unit of now available. And it's great, but I want to try something else. Now, what I've decided to do is expand as I've already now got So I had some other Space Marines where I bought when I was. One thing I like to do when I try new units, I basically play against myself. I literally set up two armies, and I try and put myself in the mindset of, okay, this army's got to be good, this army's got to be good, pitch them against each other, and when I switch sides as well, I try and think, okay, I'm not going to try and let myself win, because if I let myself the other team win, then I'm not learning anything. So I try and think like a player now, so it's got its limitations, because I'm going to have a similar thought process both sides, but I tend to find that when I do that, once I very rarely absolutely bashes the opponent's pieces, they usually sort of are a mixture, which is works quite nice. It also allows me to try out tactics and so forth that I want to try and see how they work. But it's quite a hard skill to develop, but it's one that's worth developing if you can. Works best on a small scale, but what can be done? I played against myself a big 3,000 point game once just for fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it that way as well. You sort of pick it up and go, I'll do a couple of turns and go and come back. It's very antisocial, but it's great fun. Particularly when you've got a lot of people nearby who play Warhammer, you're sort of stuck doing that as well. So I did that. I'm going to try and do that a bit more, and I ended up buying over more Space Marines just to bolster up their force to equal what I had in Tau, so at least I can have a big battle. So I've got a lot of unpainted Space Marines. So I've decided to launch and create a new Space Marine chapter. Mainly because I've got all these Space Marines sat here, so I might as well do something with them. They're mostly unpainted. Well, in fact, the only ones are painted in my old army, which I'm not going to repaint because, that's my first time. I'm not going to change them. I'm going to leave them as they are. I've had them as I've just told them, they're best part of 20 years. I'm not going to change them. I'm going to leave them as they are, but I'm going to gradually replace the units in there with the newer ones and repaint them. So I've need to come up with a new scheme. I've been racking my brains for what to do. Whatever this has got to be, it's got to be simple and quick to do. So if I want to create a new scheme, it's got to be quick and easy to do. I want to do something that was quite a dark coloured, and I want to have a nice big contrast. I want to have in my head I thought, well, it would be cool if they were like sort of black and gold, something like that. And then it hit me. I suddenly thought, steampunk tends to be a bit black and gold, or black and brass. So I looked up and I found out photos of old sort of British steam engines and so forth. And yeah, they are. They're sort of black, brass, and usually like a deep red. It's like, that's my colour scheme. So I want to paint my Space Marines, and this great thing is it's just going to be quick to paint. Spray it black, do the shoulder, do the red, do the brass, done. Paint the base green, flock it, and you're done. So I've looked this up and I've done a colour scheme. I found this great site called Bolter and Chainsaw, it's been found. It's got a Space Marine painter on there. You can go on there and you can basically paint the model, a little picture, and you can change all the colours, and it's got all the old Games Workshop still, because they've all renamed now, but they've got them all on there, and you can literally click them and change the paint, because you can try a colour scheme. So I'm hoping I'm going to have a photo of my colour scheme in this video of what I'm going to have and what it's going to look like. I actually go buy the parts and actually have a go. So that's my sort of plan. I'm going to set this new Space Marine chapter up, and it's mainly just so I've got something a bit different. I've played Towie Synergy Army for some time, and now I'm just going to go and have just a bit more of I fancy having a bit more of an elite force army that I can build up quite quickly, because it doesn't take a lot to build up a Space Marine army, so I can build up quite quickly. So it looks quite good, and I can actually sort of have a bit of a choice in them when I play. I've already got about 4,500 points of Space Marines with all my old stuff, so I'm going to buy some top up to basically equal the Tau, so I've got an equal amount of points. So if I want to, I could do a massive 6,000 point armies. Probably won't though. But at the same time, I'm going to replace gradually all my old stuff and just packing away to be sort of looked after forevermore. I'm just going to pack them away and or have as memories. And they all look, and towards all the old stuff, there's a lot of metal stuff in there which tends to get broken so easily and fall apart, and I've lost bits of half of them anyway, so I'm going to replace them all and just maybe move on and basically get a new force. So that's my plan. But I'm hoping to do some battles with my new Tau, play against some people and have a go, and hopefully be able to give you I'm hoping to be able to do basically this is what I'm going to go, this is the force I'm going to take, and I'll do the video in two parts, show some clips in the battle, explain what's going on, and hopefully do some little battle videos. And yeah, so that's my plan, and hopefully we're going to have these up in here a bit more. So obviously we're going to have plans, so I'm going to take this little camera with me and do some little like battle diaries. So I hope you enjoy this little 25-minute, God, it's 25 minutes, I didn't realise I've been rambling on for that long. My history of Warhammer and what I'm going to do now. If you had, please subscribe to the channel, give us some more subscribers, that'd be cool. So thank you very much for watching. I've been TheSuffolkRam. I look forward to seeing you on a future Ram Rants. So until then, see you later.